I'm only just starting my Valencia prep because there was a question as to whether I would be going. I mean, that doesn't really change prep all that much, outside of like whether I get the good maps or not. But there was a chance I was going to get a last-second invite to Valencia, and I found out this morning that's not happening, which is unfortunate. But you know, so it goes. The fact that they were even considering me is like, oh, we need someone to fill in. Let's talk to Bayo. Is big in and of itself. So, anyways, did Elazer get a direct invite? I forget. No, he did not quite make it high. Yeah, that's right. He got knocked out by Skillis pretty quickly. Despite acing his group, yeah. I'm actually really going to be very interested to see how ZVP evolves as we move into Valencia. Because I talked to some Protoss players and say, look, I mean, they haven't, I spent, you know, a week in Dallas, and I wasn't watching as much StarCraft, I wasn't casting as much StarCraft, so I'm not totally aware where the bleeding edge of the ZVP style is, but I can tell you that certainly players, some Protoss players were telling me, it's like, yeah, you know, StarCraft, or by the time Valencia happens, Zergs are going to have a 60% win rate against the new hero PvZ style, and I haven't seen that just yet. In fact, if you look at GM, because there's a cool new tool, the link is, what's it called? It's called Nonapa. Nonapa.com, but it is the spiritual successor to Ranked for the Win with a lot more stuff. And if you look at the balance report on win rates in EU and NA, Korea is always going to be a little bit different just because of how things break down, and different culture there. But if you look at EU and NA, ZVP is sitting around a 43% win rate. Now, of course, you take that with a grain of salt, but we do have that. Anyways, Reaper onto the other side of the map. It's going to say, oh, well, you know, I've blocked your third base. Elazer cannot be too happy about that one, but he's just going to build some more drones and wait for speed and wait for Queens to push out, and eventually he's going to be fine. As for now, the Reaper getting a little bit annoying. Half damage on a drone, but that's just about it. Hey, Raynok, thank you so much for the follow. Are you what Reyna would be if he was an octopus? A Raynoctopus? I mean, I know that's an A, not an O, but still. Elazer is, however, committing to a significant link out at this stage in the game. He actually got a couple more, but in part that's because this is double Reaper play, and I don't know whether he saw that second Reaper, but the additional links are gonna serve him rather well as he looks to try to sally forth and take that third base, which he really can't do at the moment. 2 Reapers here with the eBay as it is. It's gonna take a moment. So again, more drones are on the way, more Queens are on the way. Elazer just finding other ways to spend his money. I'm somewhat surprised to not see additional gases getting dropped to just lean into like a 2-base Muta setup, because 2-base Muta on this map is not horrible necessarily. But of course, then you do run into the issue where, okay, it's 2-base Muta, and if the Terran goes for a quick push, it's pretty easy to siege up the way you would want to siege up, and it just becomes problematic. But okay, 3:30 now. Lings are now on the map, which means these Reapers should just die. Elazer, he's got a rather nice surround getting set up for here with these 8 Lings. They're going to be able to remove actually just the entirety of the map control from KingSlayeR on the Liquid side of the map. So Elazer, he's going to get his third base up. It's about a minute slower than it might otherwise be. Hey, Sabajan. Hola, Raynok. I speak Spanish at a somewhat conversational level, but I'm blanking on the word for my bedroom. So I'm like, bienvenidos a mi estudio de mi casa. De mi whatever bedroom is in Espanol. One of the best parts about casting, by the way, is getting used to being able to interact with people from all over the world. Synapse is from New Zealand. We got Raynok here coming through from Chile. I was hoping I was going to be able to meet people from Valencia, but you know, the dangle was there. We might need you, and then they didn't need me, so it's fine. But anyway, KingSlayeR for his part, he will be able to deal with a less Queen style. Mi maestra de español, Raynok, fue de Colombia. And my godmother is Bolivian. So My Spanish is pretty terrible, but I can say Chile properly, at the very least. But anyways, BC is halfway done, and of course, Elazer, his queen count is going to be a little bit lower than it might otherwise be, because of course your third base is delayed. But yeah. In fairness, though, my Spanish is not good. I can get along. Although one time I was in Spain, I was in rural Spain. You go to the cities, and people speak Spanish for the most part, or speak English for the most part. Excuse me. But you go a little more rural. I was on part of the Camino Santiago. Not because I was hiking it, but just because I was visiting one of the monasteries that was there, just because it's cool. As BC onto the other side of the map, queens are going to get pulled in together. With the spore here, it's going to be a little bit hard. The battlecruiser is not going to be able to, say, snipe a queen, for example, all that easily. Elazer immediately pulling the drones back over. And because of the time here, yes, the queen count is maybe not as high as it might otherwise have been because you're delayed production, but it's more than enough. In fact, with 8 queens, yeah, this BC gets nothing. In fact, what it gets is 75% of its HP getting lost. Now, KingSlayeR on the north side with looks like a couple Hellions. He's going to find out that there is a 4th base on the way, but he's not mining it, so the Hellions are not going to be able to do all that much. Spire gets drops, double evos, bailing speed, all these things. So 3-base Spire is the name of the game for Elazer, as he has really not lost a lot this game at all. But behind this, KingSlayeR setting up for a massive push. He skipped a second evade, so it's only +1. He's going to time out with stim and probably combat shields. Actually, I think combat shields is going to finish just a little bit behind that. But I want to say this is I want to say he's going to be about 8 racks. It's hard to tell. I can't really see how many structures are in the main base, but I think this is 8 racks. Oh no, he didn't skip an evade. Okay, never mind. Just really quick +1 for a middling push with the battlecruiser, and then you go into an 8 racks behind that. His Lings are going to find a lot of these Hellions here, and that's going to be a little bit less map control that KingSlayeR can take advantage of, as he does look to put the pedal to the metal and cause so much angst and sadness and woe to Elazer in this game. But by the time the push happens, bailing speed will be done. Spire will also be complete, but that's not going to be super relevant for the first defense, as 14 Banelings are on the way, more Lings as well. But +1 is done. Tank's looking to siege up here, looking to put some pressure on top of the gold, but you pull the drones away, and with no Marauders, it's not like anything reaches over the mineral lines to kill the base. So, KingSlayeR is looking to set up a bit more of a pressure here, and considering that Elazer is pretty equivalent in supply in this game where KingSlayeR has gone for that 8 racks, well, that does become a little bit, just a little bit spooky here, as the queen's on the other side. BC trying to do what it can, but I mean, we're at like 12 queens right now. That's a spooky thing indeed. Now, some of them are starting to fall, but here come the Lings, here come the Banes coming in from every side. Banes get a decent connection on the left side. Tanks are doing what they can, and the Marines, they get picked up, but there's nowhere for them to really go. They're not going to get any pressure. Yes, the BC knocks down some of the Banes, but the creep on the other side is still there. It's still there. It's still active. So Elazer has all the vision he needs. He has all the vision he could possibly want. And that means KingSlayeR is going to be forced to back up. He's getting now... This was the Clem 8 racks, right? Where you don't build any add-ons on top of those 3 additional barracks. And it didn't really find the value whatsoever. So now add-ons getting dropped as the 4th base goes down. But now this gives so much agency for Elazer on the map. His 1-1 is now done. +1 armor is not quite... Well, there it is. It's going to finish up now as Banes come crashing on through. Effectively supply blocking KingSlayeR is the hug of death. 11 SCVs go down. It's... Well, the SC, they just didn't want to live in this world. This is what happened. SCVs just, they chose not to live. The fan. Okay, but now Ling's on the run by on the 4th base. They're going to be able to find that delay. There we go. Just going to be a cancel from KingSlayeR. So he's a 3-base Terran that cannot get a 4th base up. That effectively all-in off the 8 racks. Delayed his second eBay to make that happen. And his 8 racks didn't get anything done. So now Elazer with a significant supply lead. He's actually he may have got some mutas, not really sure. Hey, Mastermind, thank you so much for the sub. And folks, reminder is, oh, okay, there are the mutas. They're going to find the north side. Marines actually targeting them down, so you got to be careful there. But here come the rest of the Lings and the Banes, so things start to go down. Medivacs, 2 of them fall, but Lazer's going to lose a lot of his mutas here. That's not what you want, actually. That's actually not all that great whatsoever. And that's a decent tank shot. But even still, Elazer finds himself now solidly on 6 bases. His creep spread owns pretty much is now finding its way onto the Terran side of the map. and Elazer continues to build his economy. The one thing he's missing, of course, is an infestation pit as a move to Hive. But when his opponent is as broke as he is, you don't really need to steamroll into Hive and 3-3 quite as fast as you might do if this was if this game was more even. Because then the Terran would be getting into 3-3, and that 3-3 timing is, I mean, we're all aware. We've seen, if you're new to StarCraft, there's a timing when the Terran gets all his upgrades where they just trade so efficiently against the Ling Bane that it becomes it's so hard to trade cost effectively. But realistically, Elazer doesn't even have to trade cost effectively. He just crashes Banelings into thing, and then that is a wonderful scenario to find your way in. But as the game has slowed down just a little bit, Mastermind and everyone else, if you are a subscriber or not a subscriber, whatever, Banelings, as I say, the Banelings, they come crashing in once again. KingSlayeR is going to find himself supply block. This time, the SCVs do not hug themselves to death, and only 3 workers do go down. But immediately, that supply equalizes once again. All my streaming income for the month of June is getting donated to Abortion Aid and Access, or how did I say it? Yeah, Abortion Access and Advocacy. So, just fair warning: if you do decide to donate or drop bits or subscribe, that is where it's going for. So, anyway, thank you so much for helping me to do my tiny little part to push back on the pretty horrendous news that happened yesterday. Now, KingSlayeR is going to try to take his 4th base. And that's a random missile turret. He's going to spot the mutas. It's not going to really kill one. There's more Banelings that came rolling on in. But now we're at the point of the game where the Terran wants to be Eternal Terran. He wants to harden up into his shell and hide away from the world and say, you can't hurt me, don't hurt me. But this is Blackbird, and there's a lot of dead airspace on this map. It's harder than most for the Terran to turtle up as they would like to, especially considering the fact that he took the aggressive third, which is great for an 8-Rax, but now that he's trying to play defensively, there's a lot of wide open space around this 3rd base for KingSlayeR, as he's still pretty heavily supply blocked. I think, oh, that's a dead Thor. Not sure what that was doing there. Thanks, Marty V. Buren. I try. Oh, there is no delay today. Here come the Banelings come rolling on in here, and the question really is how many tanks go down. Looks like 1 dies, but still, again, not a cost-effective trade for Elazer, but look at the banks. KingSlayeR is against... KingSlayeR has been supply blocked for like the last 3 minutes, just not able to build up enough supply structures. Now, here come the Banelings onto the 4th base. They're just going to knock everything down, and there we go. Boom, boom, boom. They're dead. A bunch of SCVs as well, but really the big thing is you lose that space control, you lose the mining possibility. And 13 SCVs, well, that hurts even more. So, yes, KingSlayeR does have +3. He's going to have +3 armor soon enough, but Elazer now, his 3-3 is on the way. No delay for WTL. Also, Mastermind, thank you so much for the $50 donation. If you're curious, by the way, where all this money is going to go specifically, shout out to Ragnarok Cat. I don't know that she's watching right now, but there's a national network of abortion funds that effectively distributes any donations to the ones that are most in need. So that's where this is, instead of me having to like say I'm going to help the people in Tennessee. This was because she works pretty closely. She has friends that work with abortion advocacy, and that's where she pointed me at. So that's where we're going. But okay, now Elazer's starting to take the well, normally we would call this a contested base, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. But it's not really contested, is it? KingSlayer's locked onto his side of the map. He cannot max out. Ghosts are on the way now. That's fine. But, I mean, let's be real. He's going to have 1 max out, and I'm not even sure that Elazer is going to allow that to happen. His Widow Mines are going to... Ooh, they're going to get a shot. Never mind. Overseer just not quite in range that it needs to be, but so many Banelings have morphed on the north side that Elazer, I think he's just going to look to roll in south side, and at the moment of distraction, run in and just annihilate the 4th base of KingSlayeR once again. And if you're a 3-base Terran, it really does not matter what you're doing. At a certain point, when the Zerg is up on 7 bases and you're on 3, there is no manner. There's really no manner of actual cost-effective trading that you can do. But KingSlayeR is going to try to get 2 bases for the price of 1, secure that north side position as the BC finds its way on over once again, but the meters are going to be able to react to that one fairly nicely. Well, actually, it's not a lot of really not a heavy muta force in this game, which is interesting. Drop on the north side though, and these banelings that were meant to kill a base instead are just going to kill a drop, and that is somewhat useful. But what it does is it's a bit of a pressure release valve. And while I love Elazer's position, is great job there, dropping the single marines to eat individual banes, be cost effective as hell. While I loved, and I still do love Elazer's position in this game, you let a Terran get to 5 bases, and that extends this game by another 10 minutes, another 15 minutes, because now they have a lot of money. Now they can build more ghosts, and as Elazer is going into ultras, while I'm not saying Elazer is going to go ultra into lose, because in this position he's in, it's going to be damn hard to lose. Ultra into lose is a meme for a reason, and you run him into a bunch of ghosts in a good concave and it doesn't become a problem. But here come Banes once again, Lings as well, and it just doesn't feel like there's much of an army here for KingSlayeR. Banes, they come crashing into tanks because why not? You gotta kill something, and Elazer has this incredible bank. The Ghost's not getting the snipes off because the army was on the left side, and 14 more workers go down. Half the army of KingSlayeR goes down, and so too did half the army of Elazer, but he has money. He's mining almost 2,000 gas a minute. That is a lot of gas. What's he on? Is that he's on? I think he's on like 12 gas. A better caster than I would be able to tell you how much gas per minute one extractor mines, fully saturated, but I do not have that one memorized. I'm sorry, folks. Bad caster is bad, clearly. It's like maybe 120 or something. I think it's like, yeah, it's like 30 or 40 per worker. Hey, Pentar. And now here come the Lings, the Banes once again crashing in, doing what they can, and KingSlayeR, his army, he can't rebuild it. Doesn't matter that the ultras are really not all that great units. Doesn't matter that they're ghosts in the field. Banelings, they come crashing in once again, and 15 workers go down. Ultras are going to be able to kill this orbital. That's never what you want. Production's going to go down as well. And sure, the ultras, maybe one of them will go down in the retreat. And yes, the Elazer is supply blocked for a moment. Do Bezos bucks go to the cause? Yes, they do, Pentarp. My Twitch payout, I'll post a link. I'll post a screenshot on Twitter once it actually happens. But I'm going about 100% of my Twitch payout goes to that link I posted, as well as say Mastermind's $50 donation. And I've got some bits over the course of the month. I'm not exactly sure. Well, that's Twitch payout. So yes, yeah, the answer is absolutely 200%. And 300% on Sundays, except I'm not actually, I'm not tripling that. I can't afford that. Yeah. Anyways, here come the Lings, the Banes once again rolling in. Widowmine's not even burrowed. They're going to burrow now, but the tanks in the front line, they're going down. And let me tell you, actually, Widowmines are not terrible against ultras, of course, because they are spell damage, but Lings, Banes, they come crashing into this once again. Yeah, the ultras, they get sniped down. But again, folks, look at the money here. Yes, there's 123 supply to 66, but even as a laser supply for a moment dropped down, as he spent a lot of money on, well, things that were not, well, he has to remake, it's still a problem. Now, what I want to see Elazer do is just go manually detonate banelings on the other. There he goes. Oh, it didn't quite get it done. Did not quite get it done. If you get banelings in the nook and like in a corner of the mineral line, you can actually go and kill workers on the other side. Now, what I don't understand is why KingSlayeR is muling the gold base. Maybe because there's just nowhere else to mule, but a mule does not get any extra money on the gold. For what it's worth. Effectively, a gold base turns SCVs into mules, but they don't turn mules into super mules. Because imagine how broken that would be. As again, Widowmine's gonna look to burr here, but Elazer kills that one off, and there really is just not a lot of anything for KingSlayeR anymore. As again, Bailey's come crashing in. There's nothing for them to kill. They're gonna go on to the next level, and again, a planetary falls. Again, KingSlayeR, well, he's not a king. Well, certainly Elazer's not a king because he did not die. Envy versus Alpha X, which is the big one. It has a lot to say about standings. I could see it going to an ace match. It's very exciting. Whereas realistically, as interesting as this as interesting as this game was, SSLT has taken How many maps? SSLT has taken 11 total maps in 8 rounds. They have not won a single series. They have gone to an ace match once, and I believe it was to Platinum Heroes. No, I'm sorry. It was somehow they went to an ace match against the Afrika Freaks because Firefly 2-0'd Keen, and Toodming took a map off Armani because hey ZVZ. Hey, Alex G Punked. How's it going? Good reminder. I upload one. We talk about YouTube. I haven't actually taken to uploading the WTL VODs because realistically they're not in 4K. And if I promise one video in 4K every other day of the week, I can't really do that now, can I? I just need to take the time and cut them together and add them as bonus content or something. But yes, I do have a YouTube. If there is any video, and I'm still gonna say this, yes, the series was about a month and a half ago now. If there is one series on my YouTube, as the clean feed is being a little laggy, wonderful, fantastic. If there's one series on my YouTube that you take a look at, it's got to be Classic versus Beyond semifinals EPT 122 Korea. Game 2 on that one is literally the best game I've ever cast. Dave Testa going for the sexy MILF. Oh, no, wait, wrong. Who else would be the sexy MILF? I mean, the amount of Bay MILF or Bayo MILF I get on a daily basis and twice on Sundays is significant. Dave, did you see the tweet that someone, or did you see the logo that someone sent me that they tweeted out? I mean, it's the Bayo MILF Pornhub logo. Also, Dave, by the way, thank you so much for contributing towards the, towards my, I guess my lump sum donation towards abortion access and advocacy. All right, and again, I'm going to say this every time someone subs because it bears repeating, and I don't have a great way to really just put it on the screen, but 100% of Twitch income this month goes towards the link I posted above. I'll post it again. That donates to the abortion funds that are most in need. So really the ones in the red states right now that have these trigger laws. But anyways, Elazer, he's going to be able to get his third base much happier, much quicker this time. But we got a 2-1-1 from KingSlayeR in game number 2. And that means he's going to look to put some pressure on the map that is, well, the best, well, I don't know whether it's the best map for Zerg, best map for Zerg, hard to tell. It depends on the player. Some people will say, yeah, Pride is the best Zerg map, and some people will say this is, but in general, it's a damn good map for Zerg. So I'm surprised to see KingSlayeR picking this as his map pick, especially as he opts to go for what is a quite aggressive option. Now, we got to point out, this is not your classic, the 2-1-1 that won a BlizzCon for Beyond. No, this is TY's 2-1-1, came out a little bit later. You do get a couple Hellions, and you do get a third base behind that, so it's not quite as pressure heavy. It's a little bit more macro intensive. It hits at 6 minutes instead of 5:30. Oh yeah, no, I really do appreciate the work the Satanic Temple does. Yeah, Pentarp. The ones that are like, actually, what surprised me is I had a Beyond versus Creator series that on EPT Korea a couple weeks ago. That in part because I live in New Hampshire and it gets light really early. I pretty much didn't sleep that night. I pretty much didn't sleep on Sunday, and I'm like, I didn't sleep because of this game, and didn't get as much views as what was literally a 7-minute best of 5 between Beyond and Dark a couple weeks ago. But okay, Queen's a little bit off creep here. They're going to look to just deny some of the pressure, but here comes the push. Oh, this is so cool. Look at what we got here. So there's going to be a battlecruiser. Wait, is this? This is 2-port battlecruiser behind a 2-on-1. This is actually so... So the goal of this 2-on-1 now, it's not to necessarily... I mean, if he gets a 4th, wonderful. If he gets Lings, wonderful. But its goal right now is to snipe Queens. Its goal is to remove anti-air from the field. Ideally, it's going to force Elazer to react, of course. But he's got a lot of pressure on the fourth base immediately. Lings and Queens find their way on over, but he's just going to all in onto this, and he gets it. Well, he gets the cancel at the very least. Elazer now, he's going to have to build, well, he's building a fourth and a fifth now. Where do we go from here? So, 2 BCs are on the way behind this. Pressure still is happening, and unfortunately, KingSlayeR did lose some Marines, so I wasn't able to really snipe a Queen. And there are 6 there. I've got to imagine we're at 9 Queen right now. Yamato on the way behind this. And I can't imagine he would... Generally, I mean, 2-port BC with Yamato, that would kind of signal a mech transition. But he did get stim. So, man, if KingSlayeR goes mech behind this, I am... okay. Okay, factory before eBay. Well, no, second eBay on the way. So I guess this will be bio. I think. Regardless, this is a pretty damn cool opening from KingSlayeR here. And the question really is whether Elazer is going to be prepared. And more importantly, how quickly the beasties arrive. All right, do we move across the map with 2? Do we actually pull them up to 4? Now, you got to go with 2 now because this does get scattered out. Elazer with an overseer in the main base says, yes, I see BCs. I see 2 starport BC actually, which is the most important thing. So we should see some spores start to drop more queens on the way, or Elazer do the aggressive option to say, yeah, you have BCs. You know what? They don't kill Lings super quickly, especially now that they're on the other side of the map. So let me bust your third base down. That sounds like a lot of fun. There's more and more Lings on the way, and 5 queens on the way at a time because now Elazer is reacting. But with Yamato here, what do we have? That is, it looks like 6 or 7 queen. Yamato not quite done, so the queen count is still pretty fantastic. Baneleys, they come crashing on in. 17 workers go down. BCs, they're finding a little bit of value, but Ling's on the right side as well as a standing army. Everything on the ground that exists for KingSlayeR in this game. Well, it is all going down. 2 more starports are on the way, but folks, it does not matter because 44 SCVs have died, and at a certain point, more stuff beats less stuff. Lings are they're actually just going to get that. Yeah, that should not have happened, but there was no cancel on the SCV being made on the 4th base, so it dies. Lings, they break down the wall. Lings by themselves break down the wall. BC is finding a little bit more value, but we're going to start to see that the natural orbital almost start to burn here. There is absolutely nothing that KingSlayeR can do at this point. It's a cool idea. I love the build, but you can't do it against a player as good as Elazer. It's just not going to work. The Elazer is... His scouting is too good. His game sense is too good. And he has absolutely... He walked up to KingSlayeR and said, hey, that's a cool idea you got there, my friend. And he took a great big axe and he just said, nope, those kneecaps, they can't be there. And he cut them off. Right at the knees. Just... something stump leg. Shia LaBeouf. Hello there, enthusiast XX. Okay. And Alex G-Punk, to answer your question from earlier, I had a great day. I watched some Dota earlier. I try not to watch or even pay attention to what's happening in WTL because I'm casting them later, and I'm trying not to spoil myself. As now here come the corruptors on the way. So even with BCs, they're not going to be incredible. How many? Yeah, okay, we already have corruptors on the field. I was gonna say, like, well, maybe if it's only the first 6 corruptors popping up, maybe that's something. But there are queens and corruptors, and only 3 Yamatos now. Really, it's not going to do all that much. So we're gonna see 1 BC. It's gonna look to teleport home, but it actually will survive. Last BC is doing what it can, but there we go. It's gonna teleport back home. 1 more Yamato, 1 more dead corruptor. But folks, again, 101 workers to actually Elazer might have overdroned a little bit. About 101 drones to 40. It's a problem. Oh, that's pretty cool, Alex G-Punked. I mean, Marauder with Concussive and Hellbats is something that can kind of lead into mech ideas. But getting Stim is going to tell you almost always that it's bio. But yeah, and again, in answer to your question from earlier, it actually was pretty damn hot today. Hey, Ravenous, thank you so much for the follow. It hit 95F, which in New Hampshire is hot, considering it was a high of 82 yesterday and a high of 70s earlier in the week. So, I watched some Dota. went for a run. It was a good time, as now here come the Corruptors again. And now this time, there's nowhere for the Battlecruiser to run, nowhere for them to hide. One of them goes down. A second one pops just as quickly here. And the Lings, they come spilling on into the Naturals. Well, there is nothing left. No hopes, no dreams, just nightmares for KingSlayeR. And that is that. Elazer showing off those. I don't know if you follow Elazer or Kelazhur actually on Instagram, but he's been, you know, he works out hard. So now we get into some PvT action here, folks. Liquid's up 2, and well, if Kelazhur 2-0s this, and remember, I would argue that Keen is a better player than Kelazhur is right now. So if there's a match that SSLT wins, I think it's got to be this one. As the BC, as the probe goes in, gets, of course, recalled out because, well, you double wall. But Kelazhur, he's going for a more TVT-inspired opening in this game. So Barracks Factory, then you get your Barracks Double Gas Factory, then you get your Natural. It's a little bit more tech-heavy of an opening. It does expose some Hellion drop ideas or early, or say, cloaked Widowmine drop ideas with an armory. But on the flip side, your income is delayed just a little bit. Yeah, I was talking to Steadfast Up a Tree Zelda during the Stormgate announcement stuff. Which, by the way, folks, I know some people were disappointed about the art style and some other stuff, but I am very excited from what they've shown me. Most of it's out in the air, if you can parse together all the interviews. Most of it's out in the open, but again, I'm very excited. One thing we were talking about, though, and I think I've heard this mirrored in, is the Reaper gets 1 worker. It's gonna be forced out now. There's an Adept. One thing people were talking about was tying things like recall to an actual unit rather than a structure, because a unit can die and have a recall get canceled, whereas a structure can't. All right, so that was actually one of the good things about the Mothership Core, and that, yeah, the Mothership Core was absolutely a problem, but one of the good things about it is the Zealot and the Adept. They show up. They're going to try to delay this Command Center as much as they can, but the Zealot dies. But here comes the second Adept behind, and actually 2 Adepts. They do beat these 3 Marines. So with the Reaper, though, it becomes a little bit more complicated. The Reaper will stay alive here, and now Kelazhur is trying to chase things up. But Adept looks like they're going to not complete their shades. They cancel running back home, which will allow the Command Center to complete. But we have Kelazhur. He's taking a page out of Clem's book. Kitchen sink push onto the other side of the map with a Cyclone and a couple Marines and wherever else the hell you got on the map right now. And it's a weird timing. It's not something that we would expect Firefly to be prepared to deal with whatsoever. And Cyclones at this stage in the game, they're intensely powerful. They do so much damage. They burst things down so well. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, the Adept will stay alive. Cyclone's still not taking any damage, but the 2 Adepts are pretty damn low at this point. That being said, a couple Marines low as well, and Cyclone looking for the lock-on. Well, he gets it, but it's not complete the kill. He's got to make sure he does not die, but here we go. Finally, the Adepts are going down. It's taken 4, 5 lock-ons to kill those 2 Adepts, but even still, early game damage from Kelazhur as he establishes his Natural, builds up the additional production that he needs with additional barracks, and goes from there. But this was a quick starport, so while the 2nd and 3rd barracks are only on the way, effectively this is a 1-1-1. The medevacs are on the field, tanks as well, as Kelazhur Pierce 40 says, what was I doing again? I was talking about things other than StarCraft with you all, and then the game started to take off, and I forget what I was saying. Must not have been important. Oh, yeah. Mothership. Or Mothership Core. So, the fact that it used to be that the recall, as it looks like we're off pause now, was tied to the Mothership Core, a unit that was actually fairly squishy and could be killed, meant that recall was not as cheap. Right? You had to effectively spend minerals and gas on it because, well, you had to buy the Mothership to be able to take advantage of overcharge and recall and time warp and all those things. So that was the good thing about it. Now, of course, everything else was pretty horrible, but the fact that you did have that. All right, as the Stalkers, they run forward. A tank does fall. SCV's going to have to get pulled back to the second tank line in the main base here. Bunker goes down as well because, remember, Kelazhur committed so much of his army onto the other side of the map, and these 8 Marines in the medevac that are dropping onto the other side of the map. Now, of course, also, we have to point out there is no stim, but a recall is going to get forced. 3 SCVs go down, but shield battery overcharge is popped. That's something. 1 Marine is going to stay or hang around. It's a sacrifice. He says, take me and not my brethren. Keter, I have not set up a bracket command for this explicitly because these games happened this morning. If you want to go find the bracket, you are more than welcome to do so. It's WTL. It's the WTL. It's WTL on Liquipedia, but the existence of the bracket is a spoiler for games that I have not cast yet. So there is no bracket command. For what it's worth. But we are doing SSLT versus Liquid right now. Then we will be doing the first series that happened today, which is Alpha X versus NV after that. Because, I don't know, I feel like 100 odd people or whoever end up watching that point, it's better to put Alpha X versus NV in front of them rather than Liquid versus SSLT. Yeah, this is actually a pretty even game. Kelazhur, he gets a little bit of damage early, not a ton. Firefly is able to keep on top. He's actually... The one thing I'm worried about is his worker count, but in fairness, this is a mass zealot idea. Hey, not Black Haze. It could have had me confused. I thought you were Black Haze. Hey, Sympatry. Oh, am I allowed to say the first half of your name? Twitch doesn't let me anymore. But this is a mass charge lot idea, so you don't really need... You only get 2 or 3 gas, which means you're going to be short 9 odd probes. But even still, Firefly, his economy is not quite where he wants it to be just yet. Okay, but now here's Stalker. Oh, they're going to find a medevac. Maybe 2, but no, just a medevac and a Widowmine. And you don't rate. That is the most aggressive and loaded question, but such a leading question that I'm not even going to bother responding to it. If you want to have an actual discussion, be my guest, but that is not how you start it. So, have fun, dude. Hope you find a way to be less angry. Happy Pride Day for sure. Okay, now that was not the best trade for Firefly in the middle of the map, and we got to remember the Terran he's trying to hit about 150 supply. He's trying to get to this point where this mass zealot idea is very good in the it's very good when the Terran supply is rather low, but when we start to hit a point where it's you had that critical mass of maybe 80 army supply, but here comes Firefly. He's going to try to make something happen before that critical mass arrives. SCV is getting pulled. 7 workers go down. 20 workers in the main base. The Firefly have died, though, so he is kind of all in here, and the Zealots, they're starting to fall. Do we have another set of warpins? I don't think so. So here we come. Zealots once again finding their way in. That actually... The fact that Kelazhur had that drop in the main base is such a big deal for him, because it means that even though he lost 15 workers, he keeps his position in this game. And Firefly, he kind of puts his head back. And he understands this is not a good position for him right now. He lost so much of his army. Kelazhur now up doubling the army supply. His +1 armor will be done rather soon. Oh, look at this round from Kelazhur as well. He's going to find it on both sides. So Stalkers can't really blink away. The Zealots are just serving as a bit of a buffer, but Kelazhur stimming on top of it. Now here comes more army from Firefly. So he's got to back up. It's not the free trade that he was looking for at first. But now he can bring his full army to bear here in the middle of the map. The third base is now going to get dropped once again. But there are disruptors on the way for Firefly, and disruptors can make a lot, especially when there is ping disadvantage. I'm going to assume that Kelazhur is playing, that Kelazhur and Firefly are playing in like US Central. So it's not like one player has a significant, I actually don't know China to Central versus say the Netherlands to Central. Not really sure, but it's roughly equal. Really the big deal is though is just, it's a lot harder to counter micro than it is to micro disruptors. As now Zealots find their way into the natural, knock down some Marauders, but on the other side, well, we're going to see a bunch of Stalkers go down. They're going to blink out, but they're still damn slow. Some Marauders keep tagging them, and these Zealots are not really going to do all that much. Widow Mines are actually friendly fire. The Widow Mines in the mineral line might do something here, but it's not going to get that much done. 10 workers fall, and Firefly, he's getting counter damage. He has equalized the worker count just a little bit, and hey, triple probe chrono is a good thing. But folks, I point your attention to one thing and one thing only. It's that army supply tab. Luca de supply. Although the concept of eating soup when it is 95 degrees out in freedom units, what's that, like 30 Celsius? Something like that. Soup, I mean, maybe like a gazpacho. Something like that. As they'll find their way in. And Kelazhur, yeah, he realizes the threat that Disruptor poses, but he's going to be able to just run away. And now it's his time. He's going to be able to find himself. Oh, no, he's not going to go up the high ground, because that's a little bit spooky for right now. But more Zealots do fall. And 1-1 has been done for a while for Kelazhur. He's got +2 halfway done. And I don't know what the upgrade situation is for Firefly. Okay, he does have 1-1. I'm almost surprised he didn't just go +2 armor, as that is rather often when you go this kind of spell damage plus Zealot idea. But okay, so Disruptors, they're looking for something. They're really not going to get a lot. They will get a Widow Mine. That is a saving grace for Firefly, actually, a little bit. When we look at how many Marauders he has, they still get one shot by Disruptors, and Marauders actually not the best against Zealots, but there's a pretty heavy Widow Mine count, and of course a bunch of Marines as well. So when I talk about saving graces, I'm really, it's looking for the silver lining here, because really it's about the supply. 98 supply to 38. Disruptors can of course work magic, but there's only so much magic here. Is now Kelazhur, he stims, and the Disruptors have blown their loads, and well, there's one more, but the load has been pretty effectively blown. The balls are now empty, and now here comes Kelazhur stimming on in. That Disruptor will not land. And now the Stalkers, they're blinking for what they can, but there's so many Marauders here that they just actually don't fight this bio whatsoever. So again, Disruptors, they continue to fall. Stalkers continue to fall. It is 6 army supply. Firefly, I don't know what he's staying in the game for any longer. That Warp End is not going to get much of anything, and this is going to be 3-0 Liquid. There is really not a lot that Firefly can do. I mean, the game was early, it was even to start, but there we have it. GG, Firefly taps out, Liquid 3-0. Please, zoom in on me. Actually, 1 second, folks. I'm going away from the camera for just a second as the game starts, because the zoom in, zoom out it's annoying me. So I'm gonna go set my camera to manual focus. I'll be right back. In the meantime, enjoy this probe running across the map. It's doing a little, it's not waddling. I wish probes waddled. All right, I'm back, and look at that. Oh no, my girlfriend just texted me. She's like, I just made a Flip level joke because she's decided my name is not Philip, it's Flip. Hey, Warnell, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to... Oh, no, Gypsy in the Night. Sorry, Gypsy in the Night, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to Warnell, Rusty, Alexius, Galgatine, and Asher Bro. 5 of my favorite people, outside of the 56 other people that are here today. And also, again, as a reminder, I'm going to say this, everything that happens. But, again, thank you so much for helping me continue my, well, all the money that I make from Twitch this month goes towards abortion access and advocacy. There's a link above. I can post it again if you want. What's it actually called? The website actually. The National Network of Abortion Funds is where it's going. But anyway. So again, thank you for helping me do that. Gypsy in the Night. I do appreciate it. Anyways. Kelazhur again opening a bit tech heavier in this game, just like he did in game number 1. Barracks, double gas factory. I don't have any sort of affiliate link. This is just where I've decided to donate donate all my streaming income for the from June. Anyways, where are we going here? So Reaper now is going to try to find his way on out, as again we have a little bit of lag at the clean feed. Sorry, folks. And Reaper does not. But more Reapers on the way, and it looks like we're going to see a little bit of Reaper Hellion pressure. Last game we just saw kitchen sink stuff, where it just ran across the map, and well, it was like 6 Marines and a Reaper and a tank and a Cyclone, and just it caused problems. I mean, Firelfy held it pretty well. But I like how I only got 1 Stream Elements notification for the 5 gifted subs. Maybe the rest will show up eventually. I don't know. But again, Gypsy in the Night, thank you so much for that. How here come the Reapers and the Hellions. Now, it's not 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions, which is the ideal, and it's going to be able to punch through. It's going to be able to punch through the Adept, but this is not really probe killing stuff right yet. It's actually, it's going to get the Stalker. Okay, shield battery keeps things alive. As now the probes, the Hellions, and the Natural looking for a little bit more. Notice Firefly targeted the units that can die. Hey, Habit. Thank you so much for the $5 tip right there. Again, we know where it goes, but I just posted the link, but thank you so much for helping me do that. People have tipped 55 bucks. It appears that Stream Elements is the bot is still working, but the actual overlay is slowed down, so we're gonna get a bunch of notifications in a second. But okay, Raven on the way from Kelazhur, so he's gonna look to go for some sort of stim timing around actually 6 minutes, I think, is when stim's gonna be done here. And Firefly, rather quick forge. Blink is done. So again, I think we're gonna see a charge lot idea from Firefly once again. He's only at 3 gas right now, as the Hellion does go down. A little bit less map control, of course. Reapers on the left side. I mean, they're still there. It takes 3 shots for Reapers to kill a probe, so they may look to dive in just a little bit later. Cause some sorts of shenanigans, as it were. But I mean, the interesting thing about this is this is actually going to be a 6-minute stim. Well, stim is going to be done at 6 minutes, regardless of whether or not Kelazhur looks to move out at 6 minutes. This build that he is kind of mocking up, that he's approximating, it was a build that killed so many Protoss players in Katowice. It's the reason that, in part, it's the reason that Protoss kind of underperformed at Katowice, is because Ryung killed them all with this style. But anyway, it looks like Stalkers want to jump into the main base next. The Reapers may kill this Stalker here, as 1 Reaper will go down. Yeah, there we go. Stalker goes down. That's going to be nice. Stalkers go high, they go low, and in the middle, they're too slow. But they do see that there's a Raven out, and certainly that is useful. 5 more gateways on the way. Interestingly enough, +1 melee, or +1 attack, not +1 armor, which of course does kind of tell a story of being on gateway a little bit longer. You're not reliant on higher tech units, because if you go charge lots into a moderately timed Colossus, then you're like, oh, you know, honestly, Colossus, they do a lot of damage. I don't need +1 for them. And my Zealots will just tank them. It's fine as the bio stims out, but they don't get the Marauder just quite, or they don't get the Stalker, excuse me, just quite. Here we go, running across the map at 6:30. Concussive shells will be done by the time the push happens. Hey, Mike Morvius. Is it Morven time? I think it's Morven time. Okay, the bio now steaming in just a little bit. Tank's not sieging up until they get a little bit closer, but here actually they're going to siege up right now. There's a lot of army that Firefly has. This is not the significant army supply lead that you normally want to have when you're pushing as Terran. Now, it hits faster, so it definitely would hit before, say, significant amounts of Colossus would be out on a 3-base build, but because Firefly has committed to this charge lot idea, Kelazhur should not be able to get too much done with this. But on the flip side, The good deal with this is because he's able to scout this before Firelfy fully has critical masses. Now, there we go. Oh, that's a massive armor shredder there. And we have, of course, an auto turret as well. The Stalkers blink forward, trying to get as much as they can. Raven goes down. Medivacs go down. 1, 2, 3. And Kelazhur's got to be super careful here. But on the high ground, it's just a bit of a hold position. Oh, that's a damn fine force field. Not enough Medivacs to keep them alive. But there they go, moving backwards. Not really a boost, actually. Widowmine shots, though, they're going to be nice. And here comes the Warp Prism. But the big deal by Kelazhur hitting before all the gateways really came to power in earnest is the fact that this was not a fight where he just gets run back home to the other side of the map and killed. All right, so that's kind of the goal of this build from Firelfy. You go low gas, you get a lot of zealots, and you just win one big fight against the Terror, and you flood onto the other side and you kill them. Because Kelazhur took the fight about a minute to 30 seconds earlier when the gateways had not, maybe they had one round of warpins, but certainly not two, certainly not three. The supply, he still had that supply lead where he wasn't really going to lose the fight, he just wasn't going to win. And that gave him incredibly valuable scouting information to allow him to actually fortify himself all up nicely. Okay, now there's a Warp Prism on the feed. On the field, Zealots are going to be able to just get dropped in the main base. We're going to have to see whether there's a Warpin or not, but Kelazhur has to react to this one, spimming or boosting 4 Medivacs into his base. There's a couple workers will go. Ooh, that friendly fire almost got a lot more. That was almost about 15 SCVs, but even still, 7 workers go down for 4 Zealots, forces the army of Kelazhur back, which is a blessing and a curse, because while Firefly is transitioning out, he does have his 4th base. Oh no, Firefly, that's not what you wanted to do, my friend. He positioned his Stalker as if he was going to blink backwards, but he was distracted by the drop in the main, so he actually just sacrificed the Stalker. Bit of a misclick there. Misplay. Oh, look at this round, though. There is going to be one line of egress from Firefly, but even still, he blinks out. But so many Stalkers get tagged by these Marauders that, what was that? Fully half of the Stalkers there in that army, they did go down. Kelazhur, he's mining safely off that 3rd base. He only lost about 7 SCVs. So his economy is in a wonderful position. He's got 1-1, +2 on the way. I do want to see that second eBay, but even still, he does have 1-1, +2 is on the way. Ghost Academy is going to be nice, but he's not pulling it beyond. That's the thing I care about the most. Yeah, I've cast a lot of Beyond TVPs recently, and for whatever reason, the man does not like to build Vikings. He says, it's just not worth it. I don't want to do it. And that's a couple more dead Stalkers. As okay, now Kelazhur is going to find his way into the 4th base here, and the army is just not in position. So notice he gets the pilots first, says no more warpins, nothing like that. And he's, not going to target the base down. It's not kiting backwards. There's so many Marauders in this army that the minute the Zealots go down, it is a significant problem for this army of Firefly. But he does, for now, he has Blink. He has extended Thermal Lance. It's not easy for Kelazhur to jump on top of that. I think I would have preferred to see him just target the base down and then start to kite backwards. I mean, maybe you lose a couple more Marauders, but you deny a full base of mining from Firefly because he almost got it. I guess maybe he thought he could take the fight, peel off the Zealots, and then go back for the base. But for now, that is not the case. Is he? Yeah, okay. Kelazhur boosting into the main base. Says, oh, okay, well, your army's on the other side. That's a lot of fun. Zealots on the other side looking for something. And, Kelazhur faked it. So now he's going to look to stim on top of the Colossus because the rest of the army is not really there, but he's not really unloading well enough, and the stim was a little bit delayed. Everything goes down, and really because he was distracted back at home. He says, oh, okay, I don't want to lose a ton of workers here, but now Concave getting set up, but of course Guardian Shield is going to be incredibly impactful, getting most of the army, but even still Kelazhur stimming in. Fantastic Concave. Look at the pickup micro, though, on the Colossus. And Firefly, he forces Kelazhur back once again. We're seeing how this man has the quality, has the skill, has the ability to actually take down Keen 2-0 a couple weeks ago. Make no mistake about it, Kelazhur is still in a winning position in this game. But we are seeing how Firefly is actually a very good player and was able to drag SSLT to an ace match. Okay. So where do we go from here? That's the real big question. Archon drop into a bunch of STVs, and I mean, you know, bonus damage to bio. But well, actually, the Vikings said they do have to micro here. The Archons will kill them off, but okay, there we go. There's the recall. No Vikings die. Warp Prism goes down. Excuse me. Away we go. Okay, but now Firefly aggressing forward, and we look with 2 Colossus with a bunch of disruptors. It's not the easiest army, but I mean, look at these Archons. They just pop. There's a reason you build Archons for a specific timing. That's about it as a Protoss against Terran. EMPs are just so damn good. So we're going to see 1 disruptor targeted down, but not dead just yet. But there were 6 Archons. Now there are 2. That being said, Firefly has been able to establish his 5th base now. Random Colossus drop. Well, Alex G Punked, it's pretty easy to tell. If you look at the bars, a Colossus takes the entire Warp Prism. Disruptors and Archons, you can fit 2. You can fit 4 Stalkers, you can fit 4 Zealots. So that's your tell. You look at the white bar and you see, is there a break? No Colossus. If there's no break, Colossus. But okay, MB is going to blanket the army once again. Huge disruptor shots actually, but I don't know that it's going to necessarily be enough. But still we have zoning again. Kelazhur running in another disruptor shot, and that should be enough. It's not enough. It doesn't kill the army of Kelazhur necessarily, but it does force him back. And the game goes on. We're starting at the point where I would expect to see Kelazhur start to move into, say, Liberator play. It depends on how you want to do it. Late game TVP is incredibly stylistic from Terrans. We see players like Bjorn that objectively refuse. They just say, no, no, no. I have no desire to go into Vikings. I'm just going to stay on bio and maybe get some Liberators later. We have players like Vindicta that say, I want to go to Liberators as quick as I can, as we have a random Stalker warp into the main base. 4 Stalkers, of course, they one-shot things, and maybe they're less vulnerable to SimCity, as here comes the army of Firefly into the middle of the map here. Disruptor shot is a decent split there at the very end of things from Kelazhur, but his supply is not telling a good story here. On the backside, he's going to get this Disruptor that was looking for the flank, and Archons, actually, they get a lot of these Vikings, so 11 workers have gone down. The production in the main base is doing a decent job, but this 4th base is under tremendous threat here. Yeah, there's a planetary, but I think a lot of the SCVs, they died to disruptors early, but here comes the bio stimming in once again. The Colossus, it does now fall. I don't think there are any ghosts in this army, though, so the Archons are still intensely powerful, but now here comes the chase of Kelazhur. He's going to get a Disruptor to start. Actually, no, he's not. The Disruptor gets back because the Stalkers blink forward, trading their lives for the tech now of Firefly. But even still, Alex G Punked. Have a good night. Enjoy your sleep. Are you going to be at Home Story Cup? I won't be. I might try to go to the one in December, but I'm a PhD student. I don't have a lot of free time, and most of my spare time goes to visiting my partner in Texas. Big game bees. So it's hard for me to justify other time off, especially considering I'll be going to Atlanta, regardless of whether I get invited to cast at Atlanta. I'll be going to Atlanta. But I might be at Home Story Cup in December. We'll see. Rex Story is trying to bully me into doing it. But now, of course, Kelazhur's just looking for a good inside track. Firefly, now that he is on 5 bases, he's decided to move into the, I have a lot of gateway units, and I'm going to trade them inefficiently, but I'm going to try to play like a Zerg style. And Kelazhur, he's got a big flank going down. Now, of course, the Vikings land. They really don't do much of anything because Disruptors are powerful, powerful beasts indeed. Firefly is going to be able to send some zoning Disruptors out, but Kelazhur is just looking for the surround. And there we go. So it's going to be recall. Some Zealots will die, but it looks like the bulk of this army actually will survive. 22 workers go down. Yeah, Foshers, you're damn right I don't. I've abandoned my child. Yeah, that's fair. Alex, you punked. But okay. 6 base goes down. Slowly, I'm trying to bully literally everyone who ever shows up in my Twitch chat to go to Atlanta. But, you know, cyberbullying only goes so far as the Stalkers blink forward, and that was maybe not the best trade, but you gotta be careful. Disruptor's gonna get a single Marine. And I mean, realistically, if I was to buy plane tickets now, it's not even like the cost is super prohibitive, staying at hostels, doing whatever. It's more the time. Although I don't even know what a deadline's I'm gonna have then. I'm really sad. The one conference that fits the research I do, big EMPs, but Disruptors are gonna zone that one out for now. Get a win of mine as well. The big, what's the word I was looking for? The conference that fits me for the most part is like mid-March in the middle of Wisconsin. No, North Dakota. Like just flat and cold. It's very sad. Oh, big disruptor shot there. Nice job, Firefly. And he's doing a good job keeping his supply up here. This game is really turning into a damn nice one. Kelazhur was leading for quite a while, but I would love to see resources lost, because it does not feel like we're seeing. It feels like Kelazhur started to trade a little bit less efficiently over time. Is just eating some really big disruptor shots. As now he's just kind of trying to sit on the edge of the range, trying to bleed out as many shots as possible. EMPs again blanket the army, but shield battery overcharge. So damn nice. One disruptor falls. Second one goes down. Kelazhur now standing on top. He's going to get the third. It's just Stalkers here. Stalkers without any enough armor upgrades. So the fifth base actually is going to get broken. And this is finally the damage that Kelazhur's been looking at. He's going to get another disruptor. Ooh, last second shot there, but the base goes down. All the probes of this base will fall as well. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I can count, folks. Isn't that incredible? But okay, now the last dance of Firefly in this game. Much like Fireflies in real life, going extinct ever so slowly. We don't see them out anymore. Woo! Climate change. Anyway, Kelazhur on the bottom side as well. He's going to be able to deal with the 5 o'clock base. I guess that's 5 o'clock. It doesn't really feel like 5 o'clock, but 5 o'clock base. DTs get warped in defensively, but scans, EMPs, both of them will be able to deal with that. There are so many Archons in this army, but folks, let me tell you how much a Terran cares about Archons. That being said, I think most of the ghosts in this army did just go down, so this is a bit problematic here. Disruptor shot. Oh God, Kelazhur, that's a problem. But even still, the splits here, that one's going to be a little bit better. And the concave with planetary are just causing so many problems. So yes, absolutely the kind of disruptor shot that Firefly needed, but not enough. Oh, wait. That's got to win the week. You see the celebration there? That was a fly swatter for Firefly. The Power X God is more powerful than any of us. In the upper left, Clem. In the bottom right, we're doing actually player intros this time. The Zerg player, Toodming. Oh, by the way, folks, as we get into this last series of the first, well, technically the second series, well, I guess sub-series, the second match of the day, because we're inverting them to get more viewers on the bigger matches. Makes sense. If you are watching from TL.net from an in-bed, please actually go to Twitch, twitch.tv/BeelMolf there. I'm getting pretty close to partner, so everything really does help. Getting those averages up. I appreciate it. I mean, but kind of proto, I feel you. It's too hot to cook. That's why I made some chicken salad. I mean, I just baked some chicken for a while. I don't know. I feel like grilling chicken would not be the best thing. Like a grilled chicken salad. I feel like the acidity, or not the bitterness and not the acidity of the char on the chicken would kind of not do all that well with the dressing that you put on it. Hey, Buckfoy, by the way, shout out. Thanks so much for taking all your sub money and donating it to the charity I linked. Hey, External Punch, thank you so much. And by the way, again, reminder, I'm glad that I got you watching back into watching StarCraft, because it really is a beautiful game. Even with the lack of Blizzard support, and even with all of my excitement about Stormgate, there is not a single game that I've ever played that just keeps me coming back. And also External Punch again. Thank you so much for the sub, but also reminded the money does not go to me this month. Any money I make off Twitch is going immediately to what even is it called? I have the link. I know where it's going, but the National Network of Abortion Funds. And yes, this is Clem Zen for SC2. Which, I mean, Toodming's a good player. He took a game off Armani. He used to be even better, but I mean, it's Clem. I mean, yeah, I mean, external punch. I'm a newer caster. I did a little bit like back in 2015 for like the Ascended Gaming League, if you remember what that was, or for Proxy Pylon, stuff like that. No, Proxy Tempest, excuse me. But yeah, I started doing this back. We're just about, well, we're a year and 3 months from, no, a year and 6 months now from getting approved to do ESL. So just about 2 years from when I started doing this seriously. But you know, I've been a StarCraft fan since 2013. Wait. They make poutine with donor in it? That is actually incredible. I've never had poutine, and I say here living like an hour from the Canadian border, but most of my life I've lived in the South in some way, shape, or form. Arizona, Virginia, and poutine's not really a thing there, so that's my excuse. I'll be in Canada. I'll be in Toronto in middle August, so that's when I try it, I guess. Oh, tzatziki Tatsuki's got to be my favorite sauce of all time. It's just so damn good. But okay, Hellions on the right side. They're gonna do a decent job. Well, actually, they're gonna do a good job if you're cleaning the creep. What slowly, I forget. Well, I don't think I've actually ever asked. What part of Canada do you live in? Like, I'm not asking for your address. Don't dox yourself, of course. Are you a Torontoite too? Like, so much of this, the Canadian StarCraft scene seems to be. Ontario. Okay. Aliens, they're just joking around. I mean, they're not realistic. If they see a really nice opportunity, maybe they dive in. They certainly deny the fourth base. Clem Look says, did I kill the drone that was going to make the fourth, or did I kill a rally drone? And in fact, he killed the drone that was going to make the fourth. Toodming is rather oversaturated on that third base. Notice he's doing the Zerg thing where he says, yeah, I'm not getting gas until I'm fully saturated. But he's fine now. 1-1 on the way for both sides. Well, the way this is going, what are we on? We're on, it looks like 4 gas. So it's going to be Ling Bane for a while. We're going to move into Hydras eventually. Gypsy Knight, I am not. I'm New Hampshire. I'm was born in Virginia, spent the first 19 years of my life there, spent 5 years in Arizona getting an undergrad and master's in airspace engineering and robotics at Arizona State. And now I'm up here at Dartmouth getting my PhD in robotics. And where I go from there, who the hell knows? My partner wants me to move down to live with her in Texas, but have you seen what's coming out of Texas lately? No, thank you. Okay, anyway, double drop coming out from Clem on the right side. By the way, we got to point out Toodming's creep spread. As good as Clem is at dealing with creep spread for the most part, Toodming's creep spread at 6 minutes into this game, it's not quite Rainer level, but it's pretty damn good. He's going to stem in, trying to deal with the 5th base. Is he going to get on top of it? Toodming, where is his army to defend? He's got a bunch of Lings, but no Banes just yet. So it looks like actually, I can't believe he let that finish because I think Clem's just going to kill it here. Queens are now going to arrive, and here come the Banes as well. So Clem does have to back up just a little bit onto the edge of creep. Some of the Hellions, they go down, but Clem with his splits, I mean, you do not want to take this fight off creep until Baneley speed is done. Look at that target fire there, though. This is just when it gets so problematic. So very few Banes remain at this point. Clem getting another, snapping it down the minute they come into Marine range. And yes, there are more and more Lings on the way. Yes, the Queens are doing what they can, but they're running out of energy pretty soon. And the next clump of bio from Clem is going to start to arrive here in just a second. Another Baneling falls on the left and the right. The Lings are just so damn good. And there's just nothing. The bio's so low, but there's not... Queens don't do DPS, and here comes the next round of pain and suffering. We can see just a look of sadness on Toodming's face because Clem has just hit him upside the head with a day-old baguette. It's too crunchy, too toasty. And it's a veritable weapon here. So no Banelings on the field anymore. Lings are going to try to do what they can. The tank's sieged up in a nice spot. Actually, it's a pretty horrible spot, but that tank behind the mineral line is a little bit better. Yes, the tank on the right goes down, but with the dearth of Banes, there is really not a lot. Third base now going to go down. Toodming already evacuated all of his drones into his fourth, but this does not look good for our Chinese Zerg player. Now, of course, Baneling speed is done, so it's a little bit harder for Clem to take. Oh, no. I think a bunch of Marines died, but just about all the Banelings died as well, against a bunch of tanks that stay alive. So Clem, he punches through. 1-0 lead for Clem, 5-0 for Team Liquid. The crazy thing is my dad worked in Dallas. He still has a house there. He was a lawyer in Dallas in like the late 80s, early 90s. And his house, so Claire, my partner, she grew up in Arizona. I met her at Arizona State. She grew up in, anyway, yeah, she grew up in Arizona, but she actually ended up buying a house. She's got a great engineering job. She's killing it. She's like on the fast track to get massive advancement in the company if she wants it. But the house that she bought is like 2 miles away from where my dad's house is, which is pretty funny. Small world. So whenever I go down there, I have to visit Claire, but I also have to visit some of my dad's friends that have stayed in Dallas all these years. But yeah, no, and also, I thought you said you were watching the state capitol protest. You're actually going to the protest. Stay safe. Okay. There's Texas is not necessarily one of the states that I would. No, my dad lives in. I grew up in Virginia. That's where I'm from. That's where my family is. My dad just has the house and he rents it out. But yeah, no, Texas is, for something like this, Texas does not strike me as a state. I mean, I would go because it's important, but it does not strike me as a place I would wish to be in a protest in. You know, we have a bunch more Lings on the way. Hey, Groundhawk, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome. I had friends that I still have a bunch of friends in Phoenix, and they got tear gas last night. Without any sort of order to disperse, just tear gas from the start. So, right to protest, but only in certain places and only if they actually want to let you. Anyways, I'm sorry, this is getting A, overly political, and B, overly depressing. So we're going to talk about StarCraft a little bit more. Is Clem dropping that second barracks with the third base? So 2-on-1 idea coming out of the young Frenchman. He wielded the baguette like a sword in game one. We're going to have to see if he's able to do it again. Oh, yes, the creep tumor. Great KD8 positioning. That's pretty fun. So here come the first couple of Hellions on the map here from Clem, and he's not going to get a lot of them. That's the point of this 2-on-1 with a third base. You get a little bit of Hellion pressure. Oh wait, is he going to get a queen? No, it's going to be able to get back on creep. But you get a couple Hellions, 2 to 4, occasionally more, but really around that 2 to 4 mark. And it's to represent the idea that it's not a 2-on-1 first and foremost, but also it's map pressure. It keeps the creep back a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier that even though your 2-on-1 is slower, it's 6 minutes instead of it's 30 seconds slower, which is an eon. Solid one. It's a solid 1/6 of the game time, which is a solid 16% of the game total game period elapsed. Quick maths. Well, 17%. 16.7. Anyways. No. Marco, man, I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Virginia, on the edge of somewhere. So I grew up in Fauquier County, which you can look up on the map. It is like right on the edge of Northern Virginia, but it has more cows than people. I grew up on 60 acres in the middle of nowhere. It was about, it was exactly a 5K from my front porch to the nearest paved road and back. Surrounded by farmland, 15 minutes into town. Maybe like not quite Dakota's level nowhere, but no. Very rural. Very rural. But okay, now here come the bio-stimming in once again. Is Toodming going to be prepared? This first, or it was a different build. The first push from Clem. Oh, he delays the Spire. That is massive. Now, of course, this is 3-hatch, 4-hatch Spire. Well, funny you say that, Pentarp. When I was, well, first of all, I've got Superman on my bookshelf, which I need to dust. When I was a kid, man, Clem has set this back so far. Delayed upgrades, of course, are a thing when you go for this quick Spire, but delaying, I think that Spire is about halfway done. It's kind of hard for me to read the production tab because it's 1080p and I'm on a 4K screen. But anyway, Clem delaying that one, he's going to have a wonderful advantage in the mid game. But you say I'm basically the Clark Kent of StarCraft casting, Pentarp. When I was a kid, like read until I had to wear a school uniform in first grade because I went to a private school. I don't know if you remember those superhero pajamas. They were like felt. They had a cape that you could Velcro on, and you know they kind of looked like the superhero costume, but they were pajamas. That was my like daily attire. That and red high tops. Again, until I had to wear a uniform, and even then I would try to wear it underneath until it got too hot. I know, right? External Punch. There's a reason I try to upload in 4K. I understand the pain. But it's not that 1080p is bad. It's Bane's Lings that come in on the left side. Great split here, actually, from Clem. Killing off a lot of the reinforcing Lings as well. He doesn't really take any damage from those Banes, and it's happening again, folks. Clem's target fire is miraculous. It's incredible. Look at that micro. More Banes they follow. And in the middle of the map here. Okay. I need to have a button that just turns off my webcam. Because the PIP goes in the same spot. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the teachers were kind of mean. Unless you mean actually beat on you, in which case I'm even sorrier. But I'm assuming you meant they were mean to you for it, gave you a hard time. Anyway, Clem on the left side as well. He's going to be able to find a couple Baneleys here to start. Creep spread going down as well. Toodming setting up for a bit of a surround. He survived the scary point number 1 of this game, as a couple Marines do fall, but the mutas are now out on the map. He has 1-1 done in about 20-30 seconds. And with the creep spread he has, with the base count he has, he's not going to die to the first push of Clem. Maybe, though, he's going to die if he gets aggressive here, because he wants to find his own bit of damage. More and more Baneleys morphing in. He's going to just look and hit Clem where he's not aware. So how good is the splits? Actually, the splits are not going to be all that great whatsoever. Widowmine's now going to burrow. Not a lot here. Oh, God. Toodming finds a lot of Marines on the backside. This is actually starting to look rather good for the Chinese Zerg player. But only 5 workers go down to start. Missile turret is doing a great job of dealing with the mutas. And, yeah, traded army for army. Only 7 workers go down. That's not really what Clem was looking for. Or that's not really what Toodming was looking for. And he has yet to start 2-2 as well. In fact, he can't. His gas count is damn low. He spent a lot of gas on the mutas and the Banes to make that happen. And it really didn't work out all that well for him. I remember being so sad because as a kid, they stopped carrying red high tops like everywhere we looked. I'd get a new pair every year and I'd just wear them every day for everything, and they'd wear right on out. I was cool. I didn't realize the Spire was so low. A Marine goes in and try to kill it, but one Marine is not going to do that. Not quite. Clem now at 163 odd supply, maybe 173 supply. One of those filtered out numbers. Yeah, no, external punch. The funny thing about that, really, is you talk about 4K 1080p. It's not that 1080p looks bad. It's when you have a 4K screen, 1080p looks bad because it's upsampling. And it's 1 pixel per 4 pixels. So, or 1 pixel per, yeah, I think 1 pixel per 2 pixels. Anyway, yeah, no, it's 1 per 4 because it's in both directions. Anyways, Bailey's makes some good connections, but it's only a couple Marines here. As Clem now, again, he's able to be active on the map. That push from Toodming was scary, but it didn't quite get enough damage done. Is now great splitter from Clem once again. He loses some Marines, but all the Banelings do go down. Now Clem running forward with the double Thor count that he's got. It's a little bit hard for the mutas to engage. Now, of course, it's triple Thor that one-shots mutas. So, or it's 3 Thor shots that one-shot mutas right now. So that's something. Actually, I guess it's only 1 Thor, not even 2. And those, actually, the splits are non-existent. Clem, I guess he was looking somewhere else. So he continues to slow push on forward, continues to develop himself, continues to find himself a 5th base, get 3-3, all those things. And realistically, it's going to be 3-3 that's going to make the difference. Yes, he's 2-2 versus 1-1 right now. Yeah. Let me tell you of the Marco Man, let me tell you of the mysteries of southwestern Virginia. Or rural Appalachia. Where they are still incredibly upset that the Shenandoah National Park exists. As Ling's Banes again, they're going to try to find their way into this 5th base. Widowmines looks like they got some solid defense off, but only 3 workers go down for all the Banes. And Toodming has a lot of Banes on the right side. I think he's going to try to blow up a base. I don't know if he has enough Banes for that one. Okay, here comes Clem once again. It looks like that is going to be enough Banes, assuming none of them die to planetary fire, and they're going to go try to blow up this 4th base. Meanwhile, Clem on the other side, yeah, that's not enough Banes, actually. So he should not lose that planetary, I do not think. Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on it. 16 workers go down, but the base survives. And Clem, he's still got plenty of army here. Actually, great repair, but we can see it takes 21. It takes 21 Banes, and that was not 21 Banes because good planetary shots. Widowmine shots are fantastic. Thor's wreaking havoc here, and so much damage, so much sadness, so much woe for Toodming. He will lose this base now. More Banelings, they do morph in, but he lost so many mutas there, so many Banes, so many Lings that, yes, he's building more, but the supply is not supply in effect right now. Great drag there on the Widowmine, though. Gonna be able to do a little bit of friendly fire. Thor's getting dropped back. The Widowmines, though, they're just raking their pound of flesh. They're wreaking havoc in this game. The Thors, they stay alive. Clem now opening up this supply lead for the first time in quite a while. It's just a bunch of Lings versus Marines and Thors and Medivacs. And by the way, Clem has 3-3. It's not enough. Toodming, he falls down. It is a clean 6-0 for Team Liquid.